Throughout history, the one thing that transcends politics, culture, and conflict is sports. Nations at war would often suspend fighting for the sake of athletic competition. So what would bring a women's volleyball team, the Ryerson Rams, all the way from Canada to Agua Prieta, Mexico? The team is looking to strengthen their own bonds, not only by playing volleyball, but by giving back to a community in need. 16 players and 4 coaches chose to spend their holiday break from Ryerson University in Toronto in one of the most impoverished towns along the Mexican border for a week of sports and service.
You know, when you think of these people in Mexico and these volleyball players, you know, you think they're so different. But when you do something like this, you realize, like, wow, we're so much alike. Like, we really are the same.
There are no borders in sports, and I think it should be the same way in life.
Rancho Feliz is a registered charity based in Scottsdale, Arizona that benefits both Mexicans and Americans. The focus is twofold. First, to create infrastructure and opportunity along the border so people in Mexico can live with dignity in their own country. Secondly, to provide real-life volunteer experiences so Americans can comprehend what poverty truly is.
A lot of us are very apprehensive about going. Personally, never going to Mexico and never traveling a lot outside of Canada. I was scared about coming, and I never thought that I would feel the way I do today.
We took all the precautionary measures necessary, and I think once people actually got here and came around to it, it's just been like, wow, this is actually really cool.
One of Rancho Feliz' core initiatives is the Volunteer Exchange Program, a hands-on service experience for adults and teens from neighboring nations. School groups, sports teams, church groups, and families can work in the barrios to build homes, distribute food, visit an orphanage, and in some cases, enrich the community with their own unique skills. The Ryerson Rams brought their passion for volleyball to Mexico, holding clinics and playing matches against local teams. They provided an experience for young Mexican athletes that will be remembered for a lifetime.
At first, the volleyball experiences, they were kind of hard because of the language barriers, but once I got to see like the smile on all of their faces and like, who cares if they like shank a ball a million miles away, you know, it doesn't matter to them. Like, they're just there to learn, they're there to have fun, and they're just so happy that we're there.
After you play the ball.
It was really fun because it was just like, kind of reminded you of the reason why you play volleyball. It's not for stats and it's not for winning or losing, it's just because you love the game and you love how it can bring different people together. And
it was like a good coaching moment to see the girls coaching as well. Like, I was really impressed with not only our players but the players that came in to learn.
My first impression was, whoa, they're so tall, so young, the way they practice. And then when I saw their game, I was even more impressed. Most of us don't speak English, or just a little bit. And I think they were the same way with Spanish. But sports are universal. When we played, we understood each other perfectly.
It's really cool, like the juxtaposition of, you know, that we both have this like bond over volleyball, and that just like, you know, our lives may be so different at home, but we still have this thing that we share and that can bond us and bring together. And I think that's what a lot of this experience has been about, is like finding that common ground.
Although volleyball is their game, in preparation for their trip, the Ryerson Rams raised funds to distribute more than 1,000 bags of food to local families. A single bag of food will feed a family of 5 for a week.
I think as soon as we got out of the van for the food distribution, that moment when everyone looked to their right and saw hundreds and hundreds of people lined up for a grocery bag of food, I don't think the impact of that was felt until we actually saw it.
When we saw the crowd starting to build, and when we each had a chance to walk down the street and you know, really see, you started to really get a feeling for, you know, the level of need and how important, you know, being able to provide that food was for these people and these families.
It felt amazing to be part of food distribution, from like the beginning stages, putting all the items in a plastic bag and preparing them, right up to the stage of like physically giving them to the people who'd be using them, was just an overwhelming feeling to see all the people who desperately needed the package you were putting together.
Even though I didn't give that bag of food, I felt just as much a part of that moment of when they took that bag and looked them in the eye and said thank you.
For the players to actually see these people who, you know, like their clothes are ripped, their shoes are torn, they're, you know, they're doing the best to stay warm, to see that it's not always glamorous, there isn't always food on the table. Like for me, it was the kids, like seeing the kids coming with their parents, and like no kid should go hungry. I think the girls, you know, I think they'll go back with a different appreciation about what they have, and like even if they're struggling students, they still have it a lot easier and a lot better than the people in this area here.
The most emotional point I think on this trip was when we handed out the last bag and there was still hundreds of people lined up and waiting outside for food, and we just didn't have any more. Kind of put into perspective how even just in such a small town like of Agua Prieta, of how many people are hungry.
Jobs are scarce in Agua Prieta. Those lucky enough to find work in a legal business live on about $300 a month. That's $12 a day. Even with their father working 6 days a week as a butcher, the Valdez family can only afford to rent a makeshift house.
I'd seen pictures and said, okay, well, this is poor, but you never really get what that means until you kind of, you know, you step into their house. Wow, like how do you live like this? Like how do you have a smile on your face when you walk out the door? It's freezing in here. There's nowhere to go. Like you don't have any privacy. You don't have any. How do you cook food here?
It was heartbreaking to see a family of 5 living in something so small, especially compared to Canada. Like my room was probably bigger than the size of the 2 of their rooms put together, and to think that 5 people live in that small space and it was just covered for insulation with cardboard, and you know, I can't imagine the weather, if it were to ever rain or strong winds, how the house would shake and rattle and the cold would get in and the wetness would get in.
Many exchange volunteers spend their time in Mexico laying block for homes so families can move out of the barrios, or as it's known in Agua Prieta, Cartonlandia, cardboard land.
Some of the bigger challenges that the team had to face were doing new things, like mixing mortar and cement and working with people, you know, where there's a language barrier, and I just think it was pretty amazing that they all rise to the challenge.
Cernida.
Arena cernida, oh, clean. Okay.
It was amazing how they just trusted us to build it, and none of us really have any construction experience, and we're just out there laying bricks. And I also thought that it was amazing how the whole family was there the whole time, and like Mr. Valdez was helping us the whole time and like teaching us, and all the kids were just having so much fun watching us build the house and stuff, so that was really cool because on our breaks we could play and bond with the kids. And
the kids are playing with a broken CD, like a rusty piece of metal, and like a broken tire, and like, that's their form of fun. But like for us, we're like, oh, we need a $3,000 laptop, and we need this, and we need that. The little boy, he drew what he thought his house was going to look like, and it was a castle. And by no means were we building a castle, like it was far from, and so imperfect, but they thought it was perfect.
Once you got going, you didn't feel how heavy a brick was, because you knew, like, it may be heavy, but this is going to help this family. And each layer of the wall was built up. You felt closer and closer to being able to give people the joy that they deserved and the happiness that, like, people need.
The best part is that the bathroom is inside the house. It'll be a lot easier for all of us to get clean. No more getting sick from showering outside in the freezing cold.
From not having anything to having this is too much. Having a real home with a roof lifts our morale and it helps us move forward. It gives us self-esteem. It gives us hope for a better future.
It was just fantastic, just all the cohesive teamwork between everybody. It was lots of fun, and like, come on, we built a house.
I'm really, really excited to pass on the keys to them and to leave something in Mexico.
I am very grateful you have done all of this for us. I feel this in my heart. And my children will carry this gesture in their hearts the same way I carry it.
I think that really changed me a lot, and just the soul appreciation, like feeling so needed and so wanted. It made me feel like I actually am valuable to something, and I felt like I can make a change. Each person that I met here is just going to have a lingering impact on me.
Uno, dos, tres, Rams!
The Ryerson Rams came to Mexico to play volleyball. That's what they do. That's what they love. But along the way, they also built a new home and fed over 1,000 families. While volleyball is their passion, more importantly, they experience the joy that is giving of yourself for the benefit of others.
I'm so impressed by like everything that's happened. I think so far everything on this trip has already gone way beyond our expectations, and I feel like we're doing like work that, like not just like work that like looks cool when you bring back the photos, but work that's like actually going to make a difference.
It really helps us understand the incredible opportunity we have to be Canadian, to be able to attend university, to be able to play a varsity sport at university. And I think our team is going to be able to hold to certain values much more passionately than we were before.
I think team bonds have been strengthened, relationships between the girls have grown and just become stronger. The greatest things in life are not like your house or what you drive or what clothes you wear. It's laughing, and it's interconnecting with people and interacting with them and learning about them and sharing special moments with them. Like, that's honestly what life is about. Even last night, just talking with people and interacting with them, it was just amazing. Like, you felt so wonderful inside, and it's honestly changed my life so much. I think when I go back to Canada, I won't feel so much pressure to fit in, and you don't have to wear a label or act a certain way or be a certain way. Like, it's okay, honestly, to be yourself.
As the Ryerson Rams leave Agua Prieta, they not only leave a lasting mark on the community, but take with them their own experience of a lifetime. Friendships that transcend politics, conflict, and borders. Such is the nature and passion of sport and service.